Hello everyone, welcome to day 16. Today we're going to be talking about gut health and why it's very important to have a healthy gut. So let's start by talking about the importance of a healthy gut. The first reason why we need to have a healthy gut in order to have a healthy body, healthy mind, is because the gut contains 60 to 80% of the human immune system. This is comprised of living organisms that are within our gut, and they help to fight infection. And scientists have found that there are 500 different species that are alive and living within us. And if you total them all up and weigh them, they can be up to 3 pounds, which is a lot of bacteria and viruses and fungus living within us. Another reason why having a healthy gut is important is because serotonin is made in the gut, and serotonin is primarily responsible for a happy mood. So an imbalance of serotonin can actually have an effect on brain function. So that's why the gut is connected to the brain. And oftentimes the gut is also considered the second brain. So then the living organisms that are within our gut and in our intestines, they help to break down the food that we eat. They help to produce vitamins. They help regulate hormones. They help to excrete toxins. And they produce healing compounds that keep us healthy. But these organisms that I'm talking about are the ones that provide benefit to us, or the ones that are beneficial. And there are also ones within us that are not so beneficial. And so it's very important to have a healthy balance between beneficial and non-beneficial, and you want to have more beneficial than harmful bacteria. So our gut is also our connection with the outside world. What we consume from our external environment literally becomes our internal environment with the help of our gut. So our gut acts much like the roots of a plant that are in the soil, and they absorb all of those nutrients within the soil, and those nutrients become part of the plant. And then another reason why a healthy gut is important is because there are a lot of diseases that are connected to an unhealthy gut that may not seem to be related to the gut. And these include things like eczema, psoriasis, arthritis, and other kinds of inflammatory conditions. And we'll talk about some of those other conditions as well. Okay, so one thing that I want to point out is that the gut lining is extremely sensitive. And if we look at our small intestine and we blow it up and we look at it at a cellular level, we actually can see that our gut is only one cell thick. So the barrier between what we ingest and our bloodstream is one cell. So if something goes wrong with these cells right here, then food particles, toxins, anything else that we ingest that's not supposed to get into our blood can actually get through spaces within these blood vessels. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as well. But that's all I wanted to point out on this particular figure, is that our gut lining is only one cell thick, and that makes us very, very susceptible to whatever we're putting into our bodies. So gut health can actually be impacted by so many different things because it's so sensitive. So any kind of bacterial or viral infection that we contract can affect gut health. Medications like antibiotics, which wipe out all bacteria and any kind of living organism within our guts, good and bad. Anti-inflammatory medications like NSAIDs, ibuprofen is one of them. And synthetic hormones can also affect gut health. Stress is a huge, huge impact on gut health. Emotional, chemical, and physical. So those are the toxins and emotional stress. Nutrient deficiencies can cause an unhealthy gut. Pro-inflammatory foods, which we talked about a little bit when we talked about fats. Acidic foods, which we talked about when we talked about the importance of having an alkaline environment within your body. So foods such as caffeine, alcohol, and sugar. And then the condition of the cells that actually line your intestine can also be an indicator of gut health. So I mentioned before that one single layer of cells can actually start to break down and create these holes within the cells. And so those intestinal cells actually can start to become damaged, and that allows for substances to pass through your intestinal walls without being digested first. And so this condition is actually called leaky gut, which means that your gut wall is leaking. There are holes within your gut. So instead of having a smooth surface, you have more like a sieve or some kind of Swiss cheese type of texture in your intestine, and that allows a lot of different substances like toxins, undigested food, those kinds of things to basically just pass right through without being digested first. So this can cause an inflammatory response not only within the gut itself, but throughout the entire body as well. And this inflammatory response then releases stress hormones, so it initiates that stress response and therefore keeps you in that state of stress rather than being in a state of healing for a long period of time. An imbalance of organisms and a leaky gut can ultimately lead to a whole host of conditions and diseases and symptoms. And they include an increased susceptibility of infections and disease, more stress, inflammatory conditions like allergies, skin conditions, joint and muscle pain, brain fog, poor memory, ADD, ADHD, malnutrition because you actually cannot absorb the nutrients properly from the food that you eat, regardless of the quality of food that you're eating. It can lead to hormone imbalance, infertility, candida overgrowth, mood disorders, weight gain, and fatigue. So it's something that can be very, very serious, and it can also be the root cause of a lot of different conditions. So how do we heal our gut? So the first thing we need to do is remove toxins and any stress that we're putting our body under and get it out of that acidic state. Then we need to repair that damaged intestinal wall with gut healing foods. Then restore our healthy bacteria so that we have more healthy bacteria or beneficial bacteria than bad bacteria in our bodies. And then ultimately we need to continue to support the balance of healthy bacteria within our gut, and also support our new healed intestinal lining as well. So your homework is to determine whether or not you have a leaky gut, and if you have ever exposed yourself to any of the things that I said impact gut health, then you probably do have some kind of leaky gut. It may not be as severe as others who have been diagnosed with some kind of condition, but if you've ever been on antibiotics, if you drink a lot of caffeine, if you are under a lot of stress, typically your gut is going to suffer from all of those kinds of things. So what I want you to do is go to solvingleakygut.com/myquiz and take the quiz. It takes 3 minutes, and you will have to enter your email in order to get your results, but you can quickly unsubscribe from anything that comes from them. But I want you to determine whether or not you have leaky gut. And then once you've determined that, and the answer is probably yes, then I want you to check out my list of gut healing foods and gut healing supplements handout that I've uploaded to this module. So that's all we have today. I'm definitely interested in hearing about the results of your leaky gut quiz if you are willing to share. So please do so on the discussions page. Thanks.